Today is July 15th, 2008. We're in Fairfield, Illinois, and we're sitting with Dianna Hatfield. How are you doing, Dianna?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing good. We're going to start out with some really easy questions for you that you're definitely going to know.
Okay.
Your date of birth and where you were born.
Okay, January 31st of 1989, and I was born in Lincoln, Illinois.
Lincoln, Illinois. All right. Now, you still live with your parents at home?
Yes.
Can you kind of tell us, what's your family makeup? You know, how many brothers and sisters?
Okay, well, it's my mom and dad, and then I have 2 sisters and a brother, and I'm the oldest.
And you're the oldest?
Yep.
Okay. And they're all here today at the county fair, right?
Yep.
All right. What about your grandparents? Do you have any grandparents around?
Actually, they both live pretty far away. My mom's parents live in Staunton, Illinois, and my dad's parents live in Hoofston, but my grandpa came down today, so to watch the show.
Cool. Now, what about your parents? Do they have any brothers or sisters that live around this area? You know, do you have any aunts and uncles?
We don't, none that live around here. My mom, there was 8 kids in her family, so they have a pretty big family, but they all live in Staunton. And then my dad has 2 sisters, but one of them lives in California, and one lives up north too, so.
Oh, okay. Now, to kind of get a little bit more of your family history, how did your family get to Illinois? Do you know any of that?
I don't really know. No.
That's fine. That's fine. So we kind of, your entire family pretty much is in Illinois, except for I think it sounded like one aunt that would be in California. Now, how was it being a child? Your father was involved in agriculture, right?
Yeah.
How was it being a child growing up on a farm?
Oh, I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah, it's home. Whenever we lived in Lincoln, we had a big dairy farm. I was actually almost born in the dairy barn. My mom was going into labor in the barn. They were still milking cows, though. And then we moved to Staunton, and we lived down there for a while, and we still lived on the farm and everything. And we moved up to Hoofston, and then we moved to Wayne City, where we live now. And we've always lived on a farm, had corn, soybeans, all the normal stuff, and then our cows.
So, I mean, if you were to kind of characterize the child you were on a farm, what kind of child were you?
I don't know, one that got dirty. Yeah.
So you're, I guess we could kind of say you're very active?
Yeah.
So, what sorts of things did you do as a child? I mean, were you out running around playing in the mud? Were you...
I don't really know. I mean, I guess we played a little, but my dad always kept us pretty busy helping him out and stuff. So.
Oh, really? So you had a lot of chores to do?
Yeah.
So what was the good chore to do?
Well, I always wanted to drive the tractor because, I mean, if you were driving, you couldn't be doing anything else, and driving's just sitting there, so that's what I like to do.
Well, that's good. What's the bad one?
Whenever we're baling, you don't want to be riding the rack. Actually, I think riding the rack's probably better than stacking in the barn because it's so hot in there. And
is there one chore that you would fight with your brothers and sisters to do?
Probably not to do.
Or to not do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Like here, if one of the cows, makes a mess, we always play rock, paper, scissors to see who has to clean it up.
Oh, that's good. So, what about friends? I mean, if you're living on a farm, you're out in the country. Did you have friends come to the farm, or how did?
Not really come to the farm that much. I mean, we would go to school, but usually you just see most people at the fairs and mainly during the summer. So
kind of your day-to-day playmates were your brothers and sisters then?
Yep.
Okay. Did you ever have, do you have any specific memories of friends coming out to the farm in general?
Well, I had a friend, and she moved down from Chicago, and she had never seen a cow or anything before, and we were driving by the farm one day, and one of the cows was having a calf, and we took her out, and she got to watch it, and she was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that that's how it works, and I don't think I'll ever forget that, which she didn't even know what a cow was, but...
Oh, that's good. Now, you are very involved in 4-H, from the way it sounds, and FFA.
Yep.
Let's start talking about 4-H.
Okay.
Can you explain to me kind of what your involvement's been with that? How you got started?
Okay, well, I started 4-H. I was actually not even old enough to be in 4-H, so I was a clover bud for a year first. And my mom was in 4-H when she was little, so she's like, oh, we should do this. And she was a leader, and she still is. And me and my sisters both started at the same time. She's a year younger than me. And we didn't start out with cows. We did just general projects. You know, we showed some vegetables and corn and soybeans, and we did like public presentations and stuff like that. And then we just kept moving up and doing more and more. I think one year I probably had like, oh gosh, 50 projects.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. What are some of your more memorable projects that you worked on?
Well, last year I did one. It was on childcare, and I taught ag in class at school for 3rd and 4th graders. So I put together like a portfolio, I guess, of everything I'd done throughout the whole year. And I don't know, I guess it just brought back a lot of memories of everything that I had done with the kids. And, you know, we made ice cream and all kinds of stuff. And
oh, wow.
So
it kind of sounds like some of the projects you're doing with 4-H aren't 100% ag related.
Right.
It's not raising a chicken or raising a cow. So what are some of the kind of less ag related projects that you've done?
Well, they have, I mean, pretty much anything you could think of, there's a category for it. They do photography and sewing, I don't know, anything, collections. Then they have like the small animals, just your cats and dogs and fish and whatever you can think of.
What about you? What was your favorite one to do?
I like public presentations, probably.
Public presentations? So you gave a public presentation to the 3rd and 4th grade?
Yeah.
Did you do any others other than just that one? Or?
Well, I met with them once a week.
Once a week?
And I just did a ag lesson with them.
Okay. Did you do any other presentations though to anybody other than that 3rd and 4th grade class?
Oh, well, not with ag in class, but I have, yeah.
You have?
Oh, yeah. Just, well, actually, later this afternoon, Kids in Motion is coming out, and we're going to take them through all the barns and show them the animals, and then they're going to have a nutrition lesson.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So now, being an ag teacher, what are the topics that you covered?
Well, we started out with all the big animals, like the cows and horses and sheep and pigs. And then we got down to doing like the food guide pyramid and just, I don't know, we talked about soil and like recycling and everything to help the environment, I guess.
No, that's good. That's great. So when you're talking about like the cows, the chickens, the pigs, are you talking about, you know, what you feed them, how they're raised, their life cycle, or what?
We pretty much went over all of it. Usually if, like with the cows, I took care of that, but with the horses, I don't know anything about horses. So we brought somebody in and they talked about it. We brought in food, showed the kids what you feed them, and then we gave them like pictures of what the insides of them look like and just went over all of it.
Went over the
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Now, what about some of the animal projects? Obviously, you've done quite a few.
Yeah.
What are some of the different ones that you've done?
Okay, well, we showed cows. This is our 8th year in that. And then we showed pigs last year. And we've had 2 sheep and 4 goats. And that's it. We had a rabbit one year, but it got really hot and it wasn't good.
So now starting a project like that, for 4-H, what do you have to do exactly? I mean, are there, do you turn some kind of a form in that says this is the project I'm going to do and these are my plans to do it? Yeah,
well, the 4-H year starts in September, and so they give you until about May to turn in those papers, and you just mark on a sheet which you just sign up for whatever you want to do.
Okay. And then what do you have to have like some kind of goal at the end that you want to
Well, with cows, you have to weigh them in March. So I guess you have to actually know before then. But they get weighed in March, and then you have to make sure you bring the same steer to the show. So, but other than that, I mean, it's just
whatever you decide to pick for yourself.
Yep.
Okay. Very interesting. What's the great part about 4-H that keeps you coming back?
The people.
The people?
Yeah, you meet so many people. I went to Washington, D.C. twice and Atlanta, Georgia once with 4-H. So, I mean, I know people from all over the United States, in all the different states, and you just meet you have a lot of friends, and...
Oh, that's great. Going to those national conferences, what's the difference between a kid that does 4-H in Illinois and a kid that does 4-H in another state?
Oh, they're completely different.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the projects are pretty much the same, but like how they're ran and the stuff they have to do, it's kind of confusing, really. And they don't even do, like, their counties. They might not have a county fair. They'll have like a 6-county fair, and they just get really bigger and
Really?
Yeah. And I don't even think they're called like districts, and they do them all different. Every state's different.
Wow. Well, that's cool. Now let's talk a little bit about the FFA.
Okay.
Because I know you're also involved in that. Can you explain what the FFA is?
Okay. Well, FFA, they also have like shows and stuff, but then they have a lot of, it's called CDEs. They're career development events, and they're just contests that they have throughout the year on different ag-related stuff. I mean, they'll have like a quiz bowl contest, and it's pretty much Scholar Bowl about ag stuff. And then they have land use, and you judge soil, or poultry judging, and all kinds of judging contests. And every school, well, I mean, most of the schools around here, some schools don't, but they'll have their own chapter. And then in the state of Illinois, there's 25 districts. And then after you get through districts, then it's the statewide. So most stuff we do is district-wide. So it's about, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 schools that come together for contests.
Wow. So in your involvement with FFA, are you mostly involved in these quiz bowls and those sorts of contests, or what other things do you do?
Well, we do that, and you also keep record books. And whenever you start out as a freshman, you'll start your record book, and then you keep them all the way through your senior year. And I did mine. You can do them on pretty much anything, once again. But I have 3 different books. One's on the cows, and then I have one on ag education, and another one on ag services, which I keep track of all my hours working for a crop consultant, and also working at an equipment dealer. So keep track of all that stuff. And then that's what they judge you for your state degree and American degree off of, which I just got my American degree, and I got my state degree last year. So
cool. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
That's a lot of work. What's the thing about FFA that's, keeping you involved in it?
I mean, once again, the people, you get to see and meet so many fun people, and you go places, and it's just, I don't know, it's a lot of fun.
Where have you gotten to go with FFA?
Well, we go to the national and state convention every year. State convention's usually in Springfield, and then the national convention is now in Indianapolis. It was in Louisville a couple years ago. Now they switched to Indianapolis. So.
Cool. Now, we talked about some organizations that are kind of extracurricular outside of school. What about like church and other things like that? Are those very important in your family?
Well, we go to a Catholic church in McLeansboro, Illinois, and we have a youth group there, but it's only when you're in high school, so I'm not in it anymore. Yeah. But we played softball, There's a couple other churches around us, and we would have...
Oh, that's great. Now, it's kind of interesting because, you go to church on Sunday, but then you also go to church other times, like you just said, for youth group. did you go for like church picnics and things like that as well?
Well, usually all of our stuff is kept to Sundays.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I mean, you've talked about a little bit of high school and stuff, and from what I've gathered, you're finished with high school now.
Yeah, I just graduated from Ren Lake College.
Okay. So you just finished college?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. What did you go to college for?
I got my associates in ag business.
Okay. And, I mean, what are your kind of plans? Now, this is the classic question everybody asks somebody when they finish college. What are your plans?
Well, I'm still transferring. I'm going to go to Murray State this fall.
Okay. And you're going to go for?
Ag, marketing, and sales.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what are your goals with that?
I think I want to, like, sell soybeans.
Okay.
And watch the markets, kind of guess what they're doing. So.
Well, that's neat.
I think.
You think?
Yeah, I'm not really sure yet, but.
Okay. Well, you know, let's kind of talk a little bit about farming and agriculture and how it's affected your life too. You've grown up on farms, many different farms since the time you were born. Can you kind of tell us about the farm that you live on now with your parents, what that looks like? If you were to bring somebody there.
Okay. Well, where we actually live at is not where our cows are at. My dad manages the farm. It's actually owned by Germans, and they live in Germany, and he just manages the farm. It's 11,000 acres and lots of big grain bins. And so that's where we actually live at. But about 10 miles down the road is our farm with our cows, and there's a little house there and some barns, a lot of pasture.
Okay. So, is your father, like, is he growing crops then for the
Yes.
for the Germans?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And he's growing corn and soybeans, or?
Yeah, and Milo.
Okay. Now the cows. I mean, you have quite a few cows. Are they kind of just a side thing?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's good. Let's talk about the cows then. I mean, what kinds of cows do you and your sisters and brother take care of?
Okay, well, most of them are all Simmental and Red Angus, but I mean, we have some that are crossbred just for out in the pasture. But all of them that we show are registered Simmental or Angus, or Red Angus.
How many?
We have 9 here today.
You have 9 here today?
Yeah.
How many do you have at home?
Probably about 65 or 70.
Okay. Now I asked you before, but why Simmental?
I don't know, they're nice. Those Angus are kind of mean. And my dad had Simmental when he was younger, so just kind of stick with it.
It's kind of a family thing?
Yep.
Can you tell us kind of the key characteristics of a Simmental?
They're really tall, and they have really big ears. That's pretty much what tells them apart. They used to be all red and white, but now there's black ones too.
But there still are red and white?
Yes.
See, I'm learning. Now, part of keeping these cows is for your 4-H and the FFA projects. I mean, how is it decided? Do you make that decision with your parents? Okay, we're going to keep this cow for 4-H this year?
Yeah, we pretty much have to sit down and talk about it because, I mean, with 4 of us, we all have to pick out the ones what we like, and we also go to sales and buy some of them that we're going to show.
Oh, really? So, for you, what are you looking for when you choose a cow?
I don't. I like them to be pretty. I don't like just the plain black ones, but I don't know. Just if they're a nice little calf, you usually look at their parents and see how they are proportionally and kind of go off that what you think the calf's going to look like. And usually we switch a couple. You know, midway through the year, if we still have some calves and one looks better than the other one, we'll switch them.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay. Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, we've talked a lot, and we've seen you show cows today. Can you kind of explain to us again, you know, now that we're sitting down, kind of what's the process of showing cows?
Okay. Well, we start breaking them usually about November. We always like to say we're going to start as soon as the fair gets over, but that doesn't really happen. we wait till about November, and we'll get them into the barn and try to lasso them up for the first time, all the calves, and get them halter broke. We just tie them up, and we have a place in the barn pretty much like this that has the fans up and everything, and we'll leave them tied overnight for a couple nights. And you just brush them down and get them used to people, first of all. We usually leave the radio on so they get used to noise. And then we usually do that till it gets warm. And then whenever it starts getting warm, we'll start washing them for the first time, and we'll hook them on the donkey and everything and get them halter broke. Sometimes we have to tie them to the back of the tractor and pull them around if they don't want to lead very well. And get them washed off, and then you start leading them. Just lead them in circles and circles and circles until they get used to it, and get them used to the show stick, and then wait for fair time.
Great. What sorts of other things do you have to do to take care of the cows? I mean, besides just getting them ready for show, I mean, you have to feed them and all these other things. Are there certain types of feed that you're feeding a show cow, or? Yeah,
we have, we're trying some new feed this year, and we used to do just straight like corn and supplements, but this year it's a mixture. It's got a little bit of corn in it. It also has cotton hulls, and then some supplement, and then we take some beet pulp, and you get it wet, and you mix it in with it, and they're gaining a lot of weight, so I guess it's working. And then we feed them hay. Usually they get the better hay than the just pasture cows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll give them the alfalfa.
Now, the rest of the cows, are they being raised for meat as well?
Most of them we just keep in, rotational grazing, and I don't know, we'll just get more heifers out of them and keep them just to make babies and get some more good cows out of them. But usually we just butcher the steers every year that we show.
Okay. Now, you're explaining to me earlier that after the show, there's going to be an auction of the cows. Can you explain that again?
Okay. On Thursday night, they have an auction, and it's not just cows, it's all the livestock animals, as long as it's a male.
Oh, that's right.
And they go in, and they don't actually buy the animal. They pretty much, it's a donation for a picture with the animal, and it's usually just businesses that buy. I mean, usually individuals won't buy them, and they just get their picture taken with them and make a donation to the 4-H.
Very neat. That's kind of cool. So I guess kind of the culmination of the whole 4-H project is, you come here, you show it, but then you are eventually selling these cattle off for slaughter, if it's a male,
right?
And then they're going back into the herd if they're females,
right?
Okay. So I guess with the changing prices in corn and soybeans, and seeing as you're going into marketing and everything, how is that affecting the sales of cattle into markets?
Well, the markets are all going down, which I think that's why we've switched to the other feed, because it doesn't have as much corn in it, and you got to feed them all that corn, which makes it, I don't know, more expensive, I guess, to have them. And hay's really expensive now, which we bale all of our own hay, but it's really expensive. And I don't think most of the people, the big farmers are going to stay in it, but a lot of the smaller cattle raisers are going to drop out, I think. Yeah, I see it a lot around here. Most people are selling out.
Interesting. Now, you mentioned to me earlier that you are doing work in soil testing, or can you explain to me what you're doing?
Okay, well, we take soil samples, and then we just walk around in the field or drive a four-wheeler around, and we take soil samples, and then we send them off to a lab, and they test like the pH and all the different levels of everything to make recommendations on what kind of fertilizers need to go on the crops.
Okay. So now, are you taking samples from certain areas, or what are you looking for?
We usually, there's two different ways to do it. One's on GPS. I worked for two different people, that's why there's two different ways. But one's on GPS, and you just go to like a certain dot, and then you get off and take 3 samples and put them in a bag, and that's a sample. But the other guy I work for, he does it all just with like handwritten maps, and you just look at the map, and then you drive, there's like a certain section, and you'll take 10 samples out of that big section. It's about 1.5 acres, and then that's what gets tested. So with the GPS and stuff, they can plug them into the sprayers, all the information that comes back, and the sprayer will actually adjust to the different sections.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's taking a lot of the work off the farmers, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, how did you end up in a job like this?
Well, that's who does all the soil sampling for my dad. So I guess he kind of got me the job. And right now I'm working at 4R Equipment in McLeansboro and Carmi, and it's a Case IH dealership, and I'm selling parts through them.
Oh, wow.
So
you've really been involved in agriculture on all sides, different sides of the spectrum. So you kind of have a really good view on what's going on in agriculture now. Can you kind of explain your views and what you think?
Oh, I know these higher prices are really hurting everybody. I mean, the farmers, it's harder for them. You know, they're not wanting to make as many trips across the field because they're using that much more fuel. And it's a pretty tough time in farming right now. All the prices of parts are going up and cows are going down. It's not really equaling out, but I don't know. Everybody, I mean, if they want to do it bad enough, they'll keep doing it. It'll get better.
One thing I forgot to ask you about is when we were talking about Simmental cows, can you tell me what it is that they're looking for when they're judging?
Okay. All of our cows are sitting down. You want them to be really wide in the back, and I mean, if it's a steer, it's going to be different than if it's a heifer. A heifer, you're going to want one that's built wide enough that she can carry a calf, and a steer, you're looking for the meat. If you notice during the steer show, he ran his hand down the side of all of them to see just how much meat was actually on them. And you want them really wide in the back because that's where all their meat is. But then in the heifers, you want them to be proportional, and a lot of them tend to lose it in their back. Like right before you get to the back feet, they go up, and you don't want that. You want it straight across the bottom and the top. And just, I always think bigger is better. You want the nice big ones, really wide.
So, what are some of the tricks of the trade that you employ to get those larger cows?
Okay, well, first of all, you start with their hair. Whenever you're clipping them, you can make it keep their hair longer around their backs, and it'll make them look wider, or stand it up. And lots of hairspray and stuff is also used in that show foam that just makes the hair stand up. And whenever you're setting them up out in the ring, if you set their feet farther apart and back, they're going to look wider and longer, or you can shorten them up if they're kind of long. I know my sister's steer is really big, so she wanted to make it not look so big, so she had to shorten it up a little bit.
Okay. Now you said you also have shown pigs.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about the pigs?
Okay. Wow. Pigs, it's pretty much you just chase them around. They go wherever they want to, and you just follow them around. But I don't even know what to say. They're a lot different to take care of. You know, you just feed them a couple times a day, and to wash them, it's a lot easier. You follow them around just with a little scrub brush and wash them out. And they're pretty much, I'm not a very good pig judger, but whenever they're judging pigs, they're looking for a lot different stuff. They want them really big, and most of the pigs, male or female, are going to slaughter, so you just want to make them ready for that.
Okay. And the other question I wanted to ask you was, are there certain types of people that show cows over certain types of people that show pigs over certain types of people that show goats, let's say? I mean, are there certain types, different types of people that show different types of animals?
What do you mean, types of people?
I mean, is there a personality that would show a cattle? Show cattle compared to a personality that...
I don't know. I mean, a lot of the people do show more than one.
Okay.
I know probably 3 or 4 of the people that have cows here today are also showing pigs. Usually it's a pig and cow thing, and then the sheep and goats are kind of off by themselves. I don't really know what's up with that, but most people they usually have at least 2 different kinds of animals on their farm, but I don't really know if it's a personality thing, really. I don't know.
Just the like, dislike.
Yeah.
Now, you said you want to watch the markets for corn and soybeans. What are your plans with doing all this? I mean, do you have a larger plan to something that you're striving to get to?
Well, I know a lady now, and she works for Cargill, and she has a job where she goes out and talks to all the farmers, and she actually takes all of their, I don't even know what it's called, like takes in what they're going to bring in, what they're going to sell to her that year, and she takes care of all that. And that's kind of the job that I want, and that's what I guess I'm working towards.
Okay. The other thing is that all these jobs and the different things that you've done they've all been agriculturally focused. What is it that's keeping you, focused on that?
I guess that's just where I grew up, and that's what I know. And really, most of the jobs around here are ag-related. So where you live, that has a lot of effect on what you do.
Yeah. Now, what about your brothers and sisters? Are they kind of in the same line as what you're doing?
Well, my sister, she's going to go to school, and she doesn't want to be a vet, but she's majoring in animal science, and she's going to stick with the cows, and I think she wants to raise some pigs too. She works on a hog farm now, so. And my brother's kind of I don't know, he's the smarter one of all of us. He wants to go into astrology and stuff like that, or I think that's what it's called, the rockets and stuff. And my other sister, I don't really know what she's gonna do. I mean, she does a lot of the ag stuff, but I think it's just because that's what she knows. I don't really know what she'll do in school or anything yet. She doesn't know either.
Okay. Now, kind of get back to the farm, and your father's working a really large farm. Does he have people that are helping him?
Yeah, he has 6 full-time guys and then 3 part-time guys that help him.
So are these helpers? Do they become part of the family, or how does it? What's the dynamic between them?
I mean, I don't know. If they need something, then they'll call us. But usually, I mean, they're always out in the field by themselves, so we don't really see them all that much.
Okay. Now, I mean, being a child on the farm, I'm sure you've heard of government programs that are going on. Heard your parents talking about them, different things. Can you tell us a little bit about how you feel about the different government programs that affect agriculture?
Such as, what kind of programs?
Oh gosh, subsidies. There's a new Farm Act, I think, that was being passed or something like that not too long ago.
Okay. Like CRP ground and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't really have too much of it, but I guess it's good for the wildlife and just keeping some of the natural stuff that's there, but I don't really know too much about any of it.
Okay. So being a girl that's growing up on a farm with a brother, and your father's a farmer, are there certain roles that girls are supposed to do and boys are supposed to do, or vice versa?
Not really on our farm, because I mean all the girls are older, so it's pretty much known, but I see at work, since I'm working in parts, sometimes the older men that come in, they don't really think a girl should be doing parts, and they'll be like, well, I'll just wait and let him help me instead of just letting me do it. So you still see that some around here, but
so how do you deal with it?
It hurts my feelings a little bit, but I don't know. I think that if you try at something hard enough, that a girl and a guy are equally about it.
That's great. Now, growing up on a farm, I'm sure, did you go to a town school for elementary and middle school?
Yeah.
What was it like going to that school and having kind of the town kids there as well?
Oh, well, we only had 48 kids in my graduating class.
Oh.
So it wasn't that big. Everybody's pretty much from the same place.
From a rural area?
Yeah, really everywhere around here is like that though. Maybe Mount Vernon's they have a pretty big school. So whenever we would go there, like to play sports and stuff, it was kind of weird to see all those people. It's just different.
Really? Were there kind of like rivalries between people like that? Or?
I don't know. Some people say there are, but I'm not really sure.
Did you play sports when you were in high school?
I played volleyball in high school.
Volleyball?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever run into problems going to some of these more town schools like Mount Vernon, like you said?
Not really. People just think you're a bunch of hicks, but
really? But that's not true.
Right.
Okay. How did you deal with it?
I don't know, just brush it off.
Just ignore them?
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, do you have any other hobbies outside of, 4-H, FFA?
Let's see. That pretty much takes up all of it. I've had the last couple weeks, I've been, on top of all of our stuff at the fair, I'm also helping in the fair office. And like taking all the entries and working on the books and the computers and making checks for everybody. And so I stay pretty busy.
I guess so.
Yeah.
How are you getting recruited to do all these things?
Well, my mom runs 4-H in Hamilton County, so she got me in over there, which she volunteered me to do it. And my dad's on the fair board in Wayne County, so he volunteered me here.
Now, I mean, you're kind of on a family farm that's but your father's working for some other people. I mean, the family farm dynamic historically is kind of changing. Can you tell me how that makes you feel and what you feel about it?
I guess it's for the better. I mean, most people are just like combining and putting two people in with one, and maybe it's better for their economy and financial situation. It's kind of sad to see all those farms go down, but if that's what's working out for them, that's what they got to do. So.
Okay. What do you see for the future of agriculture? I mean, in the next 5 years?
Oh, man. I think it'll be pretty rough.
You think it's going to be rough?
Yeah.
Do you have any reasons why?
Just all the prices of everything. I think everything's going to be rough, not even agriculture, just everything in general. But I don't think really anything. People are going to keep doing what they're doing and just make it through. Yeah.
What about in the long term? Let's say 20 years.
Well, there are like a lot of more technology and stuff coming up in agriculture with all the GPS and satellites and everything. I mean, they're making tractors that drive themselves now, and I think that's going to change a lot of stuff. Should all cost a lot of money, but it's like computers. It'll go down a little bit. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's all gonna work out pretty good. And most people, not really around here, but in a lot of other places, they're putting in irrigation, so they're gonna be able to control and keep their crops watered when they need to be and not depend on just the rains. So that's good. I mean, agriculture's always gonna be here. I don't think it's going anywhere. We got to eat.
That's for sure. Well, I have one last question for you. This is kind of the question everybody gets asked, and it kind of leaves a lot of it up to you. And the fact is that this is an oral history interview, and it's going to be in an archive, and it's going to be kept forever and ever and ever and ever. And one day, one of your great-great-grandkids, or even maybe one of your kids down the road, might walk in there and say, hey, look, there's great-grandma Dianna. she did this interview. What do you want them? What do you want them to find in this interview?
Oh my, that's deep. I don't know. Just look at how everything is now and see how it's changed. I know since I've been little, everything's changing. You know, every day they're coming out with different stuff and doing everything different. I don't really know. I don't know what to expect, really, but I don't know.
Good. Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.